Hey everyone, what is up? How's it going? Tim here, and I'm bringing you another tutorial today. Today we're going to be looking into Cinema 4D / Photoshop if you choose to do anything furthermore with what we do in Cinema 4D. So today what we're going to be looking at, I'm going to show you the final product here of what we're going to go for. And it's not going to be exactly like this, of course, but what we're going to do is we're going to basically be creating some text, some cool text in Cinema 4D. 3D text, of course, that's kind of rotated around and stuff like that. And then we're going to sort of put some cracks in it with a plugin called Thrausi. I will put the download link to the material that I'm going to use, the plugin Thrausi. It's all free and stuff like that. I'll put that in the description and stuff, everything that you guys need for this tutorial. But yeah, that is the one plugin that we're going to be using, Thrausi, to create these cracks. If you don't want to create those, of course you don't have to. But also this picture here, this is a picture that I created for actually a new channel that I'm starting up with some in real life friends of mine. I created this for the channel background, so if you guys would like to check out that channel, it'll be in the description as well. But I modeled this spear right here, and then we've got some cool text that's kind of rotated around, and these cracking letters I sort of put in this spear. So let's get started. Let's go into Cinema 4D here, and here we are. So let us go into MoGraph and create some MoText. MoText. I wonder why they call it Mo. Alright, so we started off with some text, and we are going to type in something like, let's type in ice. I've been wanting to do this for a while. So let's type in ice. We're going to take a different font. One that I really like and that I used in those other pictures is Ethnocentric. Put the download link to that in the description as well. And let's increase the depth like past 100 probably. Make it really bulky. Like that. Alright. Looking good. And now, of course, we don't want these letters like straight as if we were looking at them from like a 180-degree angle, like right here. You know, we don't want them all perfect. We want the imperfections because the imperfections is what makes it perfect. So let's go ahead, and if you have the form of your text like how you want it, the geometrical shape and everything like that, or say you wanted to add more subdivisions, you need to do this first before you make it an editable object, because after you make it an editable object, you will not be able to go back. So in order to make it an editable object, you need to, wow, that's a tongue twister, geez. That's a mouthful. If you need to make it an editable object, you click this button right here, or you can just press C. C is much easier. You'll get this null object right here. If you open it up again, and open it up again. No, I don't know why you have to open it up 3 times. But you can see your extrude NURBS right here and the splines within them. What you can do is you can just take these 3 extrude NURBS and drag them out of this hierarchy, and then you can just delete these null objects, and boom, you have 3 extrude NURBS with the splines. Simple and easy, and now you can edit each one, which is pretty awesome. It's a cool technique if you don't want to have to go through the whole hassle of making extrude NURBS for every single letter that you want to have to create, because say you have some really long name that you want to, you know, do something with, like some super long name, you know, blah 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 blah, the third. You don't want to have to make all of these extrude NURBS separate. One easy way to do it is to just make it an editable object. Okay, so anyways, now let us go and edit each one of these. So let's make this like, let's use the rotate tool, maybe rotate this one this way, a little bit up, maybe bring it closer. Zoom around here, and maybe rotate the C like this. I'm not really taking my time and looking at this. I'm just rotating them a little bit, like so, maybe like that, and inwards. I don't know, something like that. Just mess up the letters a little bit, you know, whatever you want to do with it. But that's an easy way to do it, just by making it an editable object. I can't even say that word, editable object. Okay, so anyways, next thing we want to do is add materials. Basically, I have this ice material I downloaded. I'll put the link to that in the description as well. There's going to be a lot of links in this description. And let me find it. Ice material. Very cool ice material, simple. Let's drag it onto each of our letters. And there we go. We have some cool looking text. Alright, now, the Thrausi part of this tutorial. Now, this is the main part of the tutorial, I would say, is the Thrausi. Because people use Thrausi usually for animating. If you go into plugins, Thrausi right here. It's a free plugin, but mainly people use this for animating, because I will show you. If you click, maybe you want to break just this C right here. So you click on the C, you go into plugins, Thrausi, click the first Thrausi right there, and you get this little dialog box right here. And basically, what you need to worry about is dynamic or Thrausi right here. You're probably just going to use Thrausi. What dynamic is if you put a floor and a plane underneath like this text, when it hits on collision, it will, you can have it break, you can have it just bounce, stuff like that. You can check keep original object and stuff like that. If you want it dynamic only, it won't break, it'll just bounce. And you can set it, like, obviously these options right here on collision, at the velocity peak, when you want it to bounce, when you want it to break. Thrausi, it's just much more simpler if you want to break to use this, because you can set the amount of pieces and such. And so let's just use this. Maybe you want to set it up to a lot of pieces, and you click break now. It'll do this whole thing like that. Pretty cool. And then if you zoom forward in the timeline, you'll see it sort of breaks. It also falls. So the importance of having like a plane beneath these letters is pretty important. So you can go ahead and you can make a floor, and you can make a plane, and you can go into the floor, you can add the dynamics body, you can go into the plane, add a dynamics body, and then you can go in, just in case you don't want to see this floor, you can go into display, use visibility, and set it to 0, and you can just drag this tag, Control C, and drag it down to the floor, and then that one won't be visible either. And now you see it collapses on the floor like that into pieces. Now you'll notice also that when it breaks, you can see, like, let's render this out. You can see that inside of this right here, inside of the letter, it's all white. And now if this was really ice, the inside wouldn't just be this plain white. So what you can do to change that is you can go into this new extrude NURBS right here, this object that you just broke. You can go down in here and you see you have all of your pieces. These material tags right here that I am highlighting, all of these white ones are the texture for inside of the object. So you can replace those all with this ice texture right here, if you wanted to. So as you can see, you can replace them like so, and the inside of it will turn into ice as well. But I'm not going to do that right now. That's just something optional. You can keep it white inside if you want. You can change the material to whatever you want. Say you wanted a different color in there. But anyways, yeah, so what you can do actually is, see, this is actually used for animation, because you can click the play button and it animates and such like that. And you can make some pretty cool animations with it. But what I like to do sometimes is I just like to take it to a part where it's broken, like maybe let's go to the 4th frame, and you see it looks kind of cool broken like that, and say I just want to keep it like that. Well, what I can do is I can just go into the render settings right here, and under save, or maybe it's output, yes, output, just make sure this frame range is on current frame, and then basically it'll only render out that frame and you get something cool like that. And so of course you can break the other text and stuff like that and do what you want with those, but let's just say we want it like this, or maybe we want it like that. So you say we want it collapsing like that. Well, we can do that. Even if you wanted to make it like explode or something like that, you could move the floor and the plane upwards, and it would do something different, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, see, it explodes upwards, so maybe you want to go to frame 1, and that C is all broken, which is pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool technique. You can move these letters away from it. But we also want to go into the render settings and render this picture out. So what we want to do is when you go to the render settings, you want to go to output. You want to set the size to whatever you want, width and height right there. Make sure this is on current frame to the frame that you want. If you just set it to current frame, it'll pick the frame. And you go into save. This is important. You want to click on PNG right there, PNG. And you also want to click on alpha channel. If you don't have alpha channel and PNG, it's not going to turn out like this with the transparent background. And then you can go into your anti-aliasing and do what you want with that. Just usually set this to best, maybe set this up to 2x2, and go into effect and probably add an ambient occlusion. And then when you render it out, I'm not going to add that ambient occlusion just for time's sake. So let's actually set this somewhere, like just to my desktop, and we'll name it tutorial, and we'll click this middle button to render it out, and it'll render real quick, and then I'll show you how you can open it in and with a transparent background. So it's rendered already. I'm going to go into Photoshop, go to File, Open, find that tutorial, PNG file, and there you go. You have your ice text, and it's with a transparent background. I know it's not very pretty at all. I didn't intend for this to be pretty, but you can do things like this. I did the same exact technique for getting these texts with different materials and stuff like that. And also, if you guys would like, I'm probably going to do a tutorial on how to model this spear. And yeah, but that's pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. Just exporting to Photoshop, using Thrausi in a different way rather than animating, but for stills. I really like this technique. It's one that I just sort of decided to use because I didn't really want to get into animating that much. So, but that's pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. Please check out my other tutorials. I think you find them very interesting if you like this one. And thanks for watching, guys. Peace.